Click the first link in the description for the best Askreddit content. Today I fucked up by telling a kid that we could eat his dog together. For some context, this happened 2 to 3 years back. I don't remember the exact dialogues. And the story takes place in a non-English speaking country, so I changed the names for the story to be more relatable to you. My neighbors have a kid named Alex, who was 6 or 7 when this story took place. My neighbor likes to fish as a hobby. He goes fishing almost every weekend with his family. He's a great guy, one of the greatest neighbors one could have. If you remember the good guy Greg meme posters, he's everything that meme represents. He's very helpful, likes to share, a great family guy and a great neighbor. I have a good relationship with him too. I usually borrow tools from him when I don't have for repairs at home and stuff. Anyway, he has been inviting me over to dinner to eat some of the fish he caught for months. But I'm usually tired from work, so I preferred to sit at home weekends instead of going to dinner with neighbors. One day, Alex was playing out in the yard. He says hello to me and I reply. We have a short chat. He tells me to come over sometime to see the trout, which I assumed was fish his father caught. And I reply him it'd be delicious to eat over dinner. As soon as I finished my sentence, the kid turns pale white, with horror on his face. He runs back into the house crying, leaving me clueless about what might have gone wrong. A few hours later I ran into my neighbor. He approaches me with a weird face, and he's very cheery all the time, so I realized something must have gone wrong. He greets and asks me, "Did you told Alex that you'd eat his dog?" With a very surprised face. When I told him that, my neighbor started laughing out loud, and I'm just realizing in my mind, what dog? They didn't have a dog, I would have seen it, right? And he told me that they just got a new puppy. The kid who hears about lots of fish, decided to name the puppy after a fish. Then I started laughing too. He asked me didn't he mention that it was dog? And I said no, while we were still laughing. He said, "Alex hates you man, he thinks you are some evil guy next door who wants to eat his dog." Well, he should have thought of that before naming his dog after a fish, but he's just a kid so it's understandable. So my neighbor invited me over for dinner, and for the first time, I accepted his offer. We had a great time. Even though we cleared the misunderstanding, the kid looked at me with disgust for a while after that. Weeks later, he got over it. He stared at me with hate all night that night. When I looked him back he quickly looked away. It was funny. Dog was actually named Luffa, which means bluefish in my native language. Cool name for a dog too. Not a common one though. Too long didn't read. My neighbor's kid names their dog after a fish, and I told him it'd be delicious to eat, not realizing it was a dog, and assumed it was fish instead. Hilarious smile. You from Turkey? Yeah. Istanbul, born and raised. So what did you guys have for dinner? I don't remember, it's been a few years, but it wasn't fish. Just the title of this got me dying. Crying face, crying face. Today I fucked up by turning myself into a volcano. This happens last night but is within 24 hours. I was doing the standard nightly mouth cleaning before bed. I was brushing my teeth with baking soda as I am out of toothpaste. The last few days I have had a sore throat, so I decided to swallow some of the baking soda water paste, hoping that might help it out. Next, forgetting every science class I ever had, I went to the kitchen to take a shot of this health tonic my grandma made to help with the sore throat. It is apple cider vinegar infused with habanero, garlic, onion, horseradish, and a few other things. Needless to say, that wasn't the best idea. I took the shot, swished it around my mouth and swallowed it. Instantly my mouth filled up with foam. I spit that out, but it was soon followed by me retching up a few more globs of spicy foam. I drank some water and a few gassy burps later. I figured I was going to survive, so I went to bed. Woke up in the morning with some wicked dry mouth for my stupidity. Too long didn't read. Brushed my teeth with baking soda and followed it up with a shot of vinegar to help my sore throat, turning me into a grade school science project. Funniest thing I ever read. Lamau, I also turned myself into a volcano with baking soda, except a bit more violently, more like the classic science experiment. Today I fucked up by not listening to everyone. Though this is more of the past 10 to 15 years I fucked up. For a long time I have had different people tell me that when I sleep I sound like I am gasping for air. Each and every time I have ignored it or just said to myself that it's normal. I've had my wife constantly ask me to get a sleep study because she's 100% confident that I have sleep apnea. I never listened because I figured there is no way I have sleep apnea. I am young, in decent shape, and not that old, 32. Well, recently I've waken up and am always dead tired. For the first few months I chalked it up to the new baby. But as we got him sleep trained and we've been starting to get a solid 8 to 9 hours every night, my exhaustion hasn't changed. I would lay on the ground and pass out sleeping. One day I had put my head down on our dog while she was laying down and passed out, using her as a pillow. So I figured it was time for a sleep study. Got an appointment set up, it was at home and simple, and after a couple days I got my results. I stopped breathing over 600 times throughout the night and my oxygen level was at 56%. Not sure what that means, but my doctor was highly concerned. Fast forward a month later, I am using a CPAP machine and it is legitimately life-changing. Who would have known this is how people usually felt? Too long didn't read, was told for years I have a sleeping problem, I didn't listen, finally got a sleep study, I'm a new man. Holy crap. 56%. I had a young friend die in his sleep from sleep apnea. COPD, lung disease, patients are usually in the 80%. Oxygen in your blood should be 95% to 100% normal. If it gets in the 80s, medical personnel become concerned. 56%. Someone was looking out for you for sure. Glad you're okay. Holy crap, 56% is no joke. Congratulations on literally a life-changing move. Thank you. Yeah, this was my husband. I told him that he had sleep apnea about 6 years ago and he insisted he didn't, despite him having all the symptoms and me having a medical degree. Finally I bullied him into a sleep study around 3 years ago and he loves the CPAP. 56%, holy shit, that's generally not survivable. I've gotten down to 90 due to asthma and that felt like dying. Glad you're okay now. My wife had a terrible snoring problem. We finally convinced her to talk to a sleep doctor. Went with her to the appointment. The doctor finished with her and looked at me. He convinced us both to do sleep studies. We have been happily sleeping well with CPAPs for at least 15 years. They are wonderful.